So here's a question for you. Would you benefit from ongoing support to improve your sales conversations and ultimately close more business? The Sales Maven Society offers you daily support for your urgent sales questions, an extensive library of bite-sized trainings to hone your selling skills, and monthly live coaching calls where you receive individualized coaching from me specific to your business so that you're able to remove any bottlenecks in your sales process. This is the most robust sales coaching program around for an incredible value of only $147 a month. And you can join now for your first month for only $47. You get access to absolutely everything, including the live coaching calls with me. Come check it out and see if this is the place for you to really elevate your business to the next level. You can do this by going to yoursalesmaven.com/society, hit the join now button. And then when it takes you to that page, enter this code, the number 4, the number 7, and the word trial, TRIAL. So 47 trial, all one word, and you'll be a member. I can't wait to see you in there. Now, here's the podcast.
Do sales conversations make you feel awkward or pushy? It's time to ditch the outdated salesy strategies. Your guide, Nikki Rausch, will show you how to combine kindness with selling skills to meet your prospects where they are, and in the process, how to up-level your influence and income. Learn how to earn business easily and effortlessly. Here's Nikki.
Welcome, and thank you for listening to the Sales Maven Show. I'm your host, Nikki Rausch. I'm here to offer you tips, techniques, and strategies to master your sales conversation. Today's episode is an on-air coaching call with one of my favorite people. It's Kathy Farah. Welcome to the show, friend.
Hi, Nikki. It's great being here. I appreciate you having me on. This is very exciting.
I'm so excited you said yes. I adore you. You know that already. We have worked together for a while. And in a lot of capacities, you're in the society, but we've done lots of private coaching together as well. So tell everybody who hasn't had the chance to meet the brilliant you yet, a little bit about you and your business.
Okay, thanks, Nikki. I'm an email strategist, and I work with small businesses that are in the process of scaling up, and they want to up-level their email marketing. So specifically, people hire me to work with re-engaging their email list to improve their open rates and conversions, as well as strategizing on engaging content ideas and taking the headache out of the email tech. And I work primarily virtually one-on-one with people at this time.
Yeah. And I just happened to be with one of your clients recently, and they were singing your praises. We were all together last week at a business retreat. So, but tell everybody a little bit about, like, specifically, let's talk about re-engagement, because I think that is a struggle for many people. They say, like, well, I have an email list. And then I say, when's the last time you sent them an email? And they go, what now? What do you mean, send them an email? It's like, well, then you might not have the email list that you think you have, because you have to engage your audience regularly. So what do you think is the thing that if somebody's thinking this, then that's a good time to get in touch with you? It's like when they answer this way, or when they think about their email or list, this is the time where call Kathy and help her or let her engage your audience.
Yeah, I think it really comes down to what I realize with a lot of my clients. It's almost an embarrassing point where they're overwhelmed. They've been focusing on other areas of their business scaling up, and they realize that they need to use email marketing in their business. And they've been collecting emails. And so they're kind of coming to me when they're realizing, okay, it's been a long time. I don't know that anyone even wants to hear from me anymore. They're not really sure. If I send out an email, will they all unsubscribe? I've been getting that type of thing from people. Like, they don't really know. It's been months, or so they want to be able to test that water. So that's part of what I do. In fact, I created a free guide to give people some ideas of email strategies that they can use to try to re-engage their list and do it themselves. So oftentimes, just kind of doing some things like offering a valuable lead magnet to them or a freebie for their list can kind of get their audience re-engaged. So that's kind of when I see people when they, are telling me that they're at that stage where they know they need to do it, but it's been a long time. They're not really sure whether or not people are still interested in what they have to say.
Which, as a sales coach, that always makes me go like, oh my gosh, we absolutely have to do this. And I know, and I've said this publicly many times, that 90% of my sales come from my email list. So I know how important it is to sell to your list on a regular basis. But if you don't email your list on a regular basis, people forget that you're on it. And then I can see where people would get that, like, I feel embarrassed about sending an email, or people are going to be like, this feels so out of the blue. But there are strategies and ways to connect, and you help them. Help me or remind me. I think you're also kind of helping them with copy a little bit too. Is that true?
Yes. Yeah, I do. And so a lot of times, the other thing I've noticed is sometimes they're not really, as far as the way they're structuring their emails, the call to action, kind of helping them think about what the call to action is, what's the goal, and kind of what direction they're wanting to lead people to, what outcome. Are they just sending an email for the sake of an email, or is there a point that they want to lead them to a certain outcome? And just being able to kind of strategize with people as far as what their content ideas, taking a look at even their existing content and how they can repurpose that into email content that they're sending out, so that it doesn't feel as nearly as overwhelming of just trying to come up with things from scratch.
What about, is this something that you help people with? I actually don't know the answer to this, but it's a question that comes up often, where people feel like they need to segment their list because they have different types of offers, that somebody might not be interested in this offer, but they might be more interested in this other offer, or even content. Is that something you help people figure out, as well as how to segment the list?
Yes, absolutely, Nikki. Yeah. So I, a lot of times we'll talk ahead of time as far as what they believe their list may be. And then you could even, as you start beginning the process of re-engaging with your email subscribers, kind of survey your list and ask them, kind of help them self-identify of where they might want to be, or what the type of content that you offer, where they want to, what do they want to hear more about?
I love that. And then I didn't tell you that I was going to ask you any of these questions. So bear with me.
And you know that for I'll just say my type 5 Enneagram, this is this moment.
I'm totally stressing you out. I love you for hanging in there with me. But I'm curious about this question, which is, I often find that people almost feel embarrassed about the list size, that somehow they think the size of their list is somehow a reflection on their success. And I don't agree with that, but I'm wondering what you would say about that.
I don't agree with that either. In fact, I believe that even if you have a small list, but they're engaged, that's a much better thing than having a very large list that really isn't engaging with your content.
Yeah.
It doesn't do you much good to have thousands of people on your list that really they're not opening anything. In fact, it actually hurts your deliverability down the road. If they're not opening, then now all of a sudden the email service providers are thinking that, that maybe you don't have relevant content, that you're not really very good. So they start kind of dropping you down, and, whether they deliver it, you suddenly end up in the junk folders or in other areas, so it's beneficial to have people wanting to engage. And so even if that's a small list, a small list, 500, 200, whatever that may be, but they're engaging with your content, you can still sell to that list as long as you're staying active with them and sending them regular information that they find valuable.
Yeah. Yeah. I know that we scrub my list. It's like an automated thing where we're scrubbing all the time. Yes. And so sometimes I look at my list, I'm like, it's just shrinking. It's just continuing to shrink. But I get new subscribers I'm going to say almost every single day, probably at least every day, multiple new subscribers. But it is this idea of like, I don't want garbage on my list. I don't want people who are not going to open, who aren't interested in the content. I'd rather just bless and release than have, this vanity matrix of like, oh, I have this list size of X, Y, and Z. And doesn't that make me look good? It's like, no, I'd rather actually have buyers on my list. And even if that means it's smaller, then
yes, that's one of the things that's kind of hard for me to convince people it's okay that they unsubscribe. Like, I don't even really worry about unsubscribes unless you kind of get some ideas. I mean, I may glance at the unsubscribes just to kind of see what seems to be happening. But otherwise, if they're leaving, it's okay. They're not interested. Let it, like you said, bless and release. You'd rather them be there and they want to be there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And cleaning the list is one of those kind of important things as well that helps your deliverability and helps your cost for your business. You don't want to pay for a lot of subscribers that aren't really engaging with your content and never opening. So it's a benefit to clean your list and have those engaged subscribers, because now you're paying for really true value.
I recently, just because we are scrubbing the list all the time, and I recently was able to downgrade my plan, and it saved me $3,000 a year just to downgrade from what I was paying. So, I mean, I still feel like I pay a lot, but like $3,000, it was like, oh my gosh. So there are some real benefits. Yeah. From a business standpoint, like, that
absolutely. You could use that money somewhere else.
Yep. It helps pay for my team. So I love that. Okay. So anything else I haven't asked you specifically about what you do that you want to make sure that we talk about or share?
I also help with the email automation. That's one of those things that people will get very, kind of get overwhelmed by as far as like sending out email sequences. So I love ConvertKit. It's one of my favorite email service providers, and just the automation process of being able to kind of set it and, have your plan, set everything and let it go is such a time saver. And so, and a lot of times that's where my clients oftentimes will get a little stressed about, I have no idea what I'm doing. I've clicked these links, I've made it go here. They don't really know what they need to be doing with their automation. So I help kind of take some of the stress out of doing some of that as well.
I love that you do that. I cannot speak, like, to me, I'm going to get on a soapbox if I get down this road, but email sequences are so crucial to the success of your business, and having them automated it does take so much pressure off of you as the business owner or as the entrepreneur.
Yes.
And so sequencers are crucial. Oftentimes people are like, well, I made an offer and nobody bought it. It's like, well, how many emails did you send? One. That doesn't count. Like, you can't send one email and expect to get a bunch of buyers. That's not how it works. You have to have a sequence. So yes, you need to have them automated as well. Because if you're just relying on your time of like, oh, I have some time right now, I'm going to, stop what I'm doing and send an email. That's probably why you are wondering, if you can email your list, because you haven't done it, because it doesn't fit in your everyday, like day to day. So having them automated, so important. I love that you're offering that too.
Yes, absolutely. I agree. And even just blocking, planning emails that you plan to send for your regular content. Just starting to batch some of those things and just take the time to kind of plan for what's the outcome? What do I want to send on a regular basis? That's another great tip.
I love that. All right. So this really is an on-air coaching call for you. So share with me, how can I be of service to you today? How can I serve?
I would love to, in my business, I want to create more freedom and more money in my business and not work as hard. So what I would love to find out is, what's the best way to bring in revenue without having to bring in a bunch of new clients?
Okay. Well, I think you already know I love this question so much, because repeat business is always the easiest business to earn. And when you have a roster of clients, and it doesn't matter how big the roster is, it could be small, it could be big, whatever. one of the mistakes I think business owners often make is they assume that people know what else they could or how else they could work with this person. Or you don't want to make the assumption that your customer knows all the different ways that you could serve them. That's your job to earn that business. So one of the things that I've been talking a lot about lately, and I've really been doing this with a lot of my VIP clients, is we've been working on what I call order bumps and upsells. And so there is something about having an order bump when somebody goes to buy something from you, if you're using some kind of a checkout, process. We use Thrivecart in my business.
Okay.
And that may or may not work in your business, Kathy. So tell me if it doesn't, we'll talk about it. And I'm not suggesting that you have to use Thrivecart. That's just who we use. We love them. I do recommend them. There's a debate as to whether I'm an affiliate for them, but I don't think actually I have a code. So I'm not getting any kickback from saying this, but I do love them. So, but a lot of times when somebody goes to buy something, we almost always have an order bump, some other thing for them to buy along with what their original purchase is. Now you see this from all different kinds of companies out there, right? Like I actually just bought some stuff before I got on this call with you, and they had an order bump for me. I loved it. And then behind the order bump, they had an upsell. So they had like, oh, here's your order. And if you spend a little bit more money, in this particular case, it was like, I got free shipping. So of course I'm going to spend the more money to get the free shipping. And then, so that's an order bump can be anything. So think about what clients are hiring you for right now, the major thing they're hiring. What is a complementary product to that or a complementary service to that? That's what I want to make sure that you're putting in front of them. So if somebody's asking you like, hey, send me an email or send me a proposal about ways that we could work together. So I want you to have the like, here's the way that we talked about, here's pricing, and here's something else that you can add on.
Okay.
Okay. It could be anything. Right? It could be helping them set up the automation, not just do the re-engagement campaign, but set up like an opt-in series that's automated, right? Like you could have that as your order bump essentially.
Okay.
Yeah. And then for your existing clients, think about the people who've been, it's not like they're buying from you for the first time. Maybe they're on a retainer, or maybe it's like it's a project based. But think about what's the other thing that you could now sell them to. Or maybe you're doing, you're doing this certain service for them. What either goes with it or what's an upgrade to it that includes what they're getting now and has other things. So I always say an upsell can be an and sale or it can be an or sale. So let me talk that through and see if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So an or would be like, here's an example I use in my business. So a lot of times somebody will come in and they'll buy a training course from me. There will be an upsell behind it that will say, that training course is included in the Sales Maven Society. You can upgrade right now. That's the upsell. Get access to the course, plus get all the other training in the Sales Maven Society. So we originally charged them for the first course. They decide to take the upgrade. We refund. This is the upsell process in Thrivecart. We refund them for the original order. And now they just have a new charge that includes that, get what they thought they wanted and everything else.
Okay.
So that's an or sale. Now an and sale would be buy this course and get a strategy session with Nikki, right? That would be an and offer. So they bought this and they're going to buy this other thing. So with your existing clients right now that have hired you to do, let's say a re-engagement campaign.
Yeah.
Maybe then what you offer kind of as you're coming to a close or that project is kind of starting to wrap up, what would be the upsell? The upsell might be for them to go onto a retainer with you.
Yeah. Okay.
And they get a certain number of hours or they get a certain deliverable from you every month instead of project based. That would be an upsell.
Okay. So it becomes a retainer client that you're doing.
If you want a retainer client.
Right. But that you're doing something, there's a deliverable each month.
Yeah. Now
For
it
sure.
could be, it doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be a retainer. It could be just another project. It could be like, okay, so we did your re-engagement campaign. Would you be interested in talking about doing a promotional series campaign where you're actually selling something? Or would you be interested in laying out your content for the year for your weekly newsletter and having that all set up and automated so that anytime a new subscriber comes on, they, at some point it triggers where they go into that campaign and now they're just getting this content for the next year.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. There's a lot of things that you can offer. The most important thing is that you offer something.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Keep it going.
Keep going. So this is how you increase lifetime value of your clients. This is how you will find that you can work less because you're not spending so much time trying to go out and find new clients. So from a business development standpoint, you're not needing to not necessarily allocate that much time to it. So that gives you some freedom in your business. And the more you get to know somebody's business, I don't know if you feel this, but I know in my own business, like the more I get to know you and what you do, the better I can serve you.
Yes.
Right.
Yes,
and the less time it takes for you to have to explain like, oh, this is what's going on. Cause I already know what's going on.
Yes.
So we're not spending coaching time talking about, you giving me backstory because I know the backstory and we're like moving on from where we are. So it just allows you, I think, to be more efficient and deliver at a higher level when you can work with clients for a longer period of time until they're done, right? Like,
right.
I'm not saying like, let's try to squeeze every last dollar out of everybody. It's like, as long as there's still value to provide, your job as the business owner, as the salesperson in this case, your job is to put offers in front of them and let them decide, yes, I want that, or no, I don't.
Okay.
And if you're not putting those things in front of them, I can guarantee you they're probably going and sourcing it from somebody else.
Yes. Yeah.
Or they never get it because they don't even know it's an option for them.
Right.
So
yeah, and it helps, I think, being able to, because for me personally, the type of person I am, I get very invested even when I'm doing just a project, and I'm excited about the results. I want to see them succeed in their business. And so it makes it a lot more interesting, I think, to be able to figure out other ways to be able to continue that relationship going forward.
Yeah. And that's something, you and I can work out if you want to like figure out like what is the actual offer for you, for your business. That's something we could do in a strategy session. And it is something that I want you to have kind of in your back pocket and ready to go all the time. Because if you can take a sale, let's say you're going to sell something and let's say it's I'm just making up a price for you. So let's say it's a $10,000 project. And if you can increase that sale and put in front of a client and they get so much more value, and now it's a $15 or $15,000 sale, well, you just increase that sale by 50%, right? Like,
yeah,
that's a huge amount of dollars. This is how you scale your business, upsells and order bumps. And if you're not doing them, you're leaving money on the table. And more importantly, you're leaving clients not getting the full value of what they could get when they work with you.
I think that's a great idea. And I definitely think that's one of those things that, as I love to do, be able to work with you even deeper in down the road, like let's talk about that, because I think I have done it in a variety of different ways, but I think what you're saying makes sense. It resonates with me of that's the way to go about it. It'd be a lot less difficult to not have to go out there and keep finding.
Yeah. Keep finding that next project, next project.
Yeah.
And again, it's, you have to go through the whole process of establishing credibility, building know, like, and trust. Whereas your existing clients, you already have credibility. You already have know, like, and trust. So what else can you do with those clients?
Yeah.
There are things, but they won't necessarily ask you about them because they don't know to ask you. So
Right.
your job is to put it in front of them and give them the opportunity. And I would say every time you put out some type of a proposal or an offer with you and your business, I would love to see some type of an add-on, order bump, something of like, what else could they do?
How do you do it when you are in a position? Because a lot of times I will do the consultation call, and I follow your techniques and always end with asking for the sale at that point. How do you kind of incorporate that in at that stage of the process? Do you just kind of say, and there's this opportunity as well? You know, I know you normally like us to talk about the 3 different package opportunities.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's such a great question. I'm so glad you asked this. All right. So we've gone in, we've laid it out. We're following the selling staircase. We've laid out the offer and the client has said yes to one of the offers. Okay.
Yes.
Now you could say, now, before I run your credit card, I just want to check and see, would you be interested in adding on X, Y, and Z?
Okay.
You could do that right there. Now, if, I don't want you to muddy the waters and like overwhelm them with like, you could have this and you could have that and you could have this other thing. That's like selling past the close. I want you to be ready to take the order. And it's okay for you to say something like, now, before we charge your card or before you do this other thing, I just want to check to see, would you be interested in adding this other piece on? And then let them say yes or no, and let them go, well, what is that? Or why would I do that? Or what's the price for that? Or whatever. But be willing to just check and see. It's kind of like, when you go to check out, like on a cart.
Yes. And it pops up.
Yeah, it pops up and it's like, would you like to add this other thing? I literally just did this before we got on. I took their order bump and I took their upsell. And it's like, well, I'm glad they put it in front of me because they actually made way more money off of me than if they hadn't done it. And I'm going to be delighted when it arrives, other than having to break down the cardboard. I'm going to be so delighted that they, gave me this opportunity to get these 2 extra things on my order. So don't be afraid to do this in your own business.
So would you recommend, if you're doing 3 packages and say someone selects a package, do you already have like possible add-ons for all 3 potentially? Like, so say they pick the largest package, the add-on may be different if it were a different package potentially. And I know you don't like for us to go, and it could be this and this and this, but how do you just kind of go in planning like 3 more option or 3 additional add-ons if they were going to pick one of the 3?
I would love for you to have like one add-on that would fit in all 3. Now, here's the other thing that the other way that you can do this is we can plant the seed for additional work down the road. And I actually do this. So just to be really clear, like this is something that I do when I'm talking to VIP clients and I'm talking about there are 3 VIP options with me. And one of the things that I'll say when people are choosing which one they want is I'll say, now, just so you know that there will be an opportunity for us to continue to work together. One of the most popular things that my VIPs extend after their VIP is to have Voxer and email access to me. So that will be something that we can talk about after we get started. So I'm not necessarily adding the sale right there on it, but I'm planting that seed. And actually, I just did this the other day. I just sent my VIPs an update and said, here's where you are in the tracking, of how much, time we have left together, what's left in your package. And would you like to talk about extending? Here are the 2 options, this or this. And people came back and said, I'm very interested in this. What's that look like? What's the pricing for that? Right. So that's me continuing to build lifetime value and deliver, because sometimes people go through the VIP program and they're like, this was amazing. And I still have more that I want to do with you.
Yeah.
Some people are like, no, I'm good. I'm fine. Great. That's fine too.
How long within the process do you do that? Do you come back like halfway through?
I usually do it when I'm a few weeks out from being done. So I would say between 2 and 3 weeks, just because I think sometimes if you go like halfway through, they're like, but I still have halfway to go. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But you want to still, like, if I'm thinking about you doing a re-engagement campaign, I would want you to put this offer in front of them before you deliver the last deliverable.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
And just say, like, in our next session, I'll be delivering the last deliverable. I'm just making up your wording. Obviously, I'm not going to say this. And there is an opportunity for us to do some additional work together. Would you be interested in chatting about what that might look like?
Okay. I like that. So really, I just need to create sort of a project plan where I'm incorporating that in right before the last deliverable is being remembered to do this.
Yeah. And then the way that I just laid it out for you, the other nice thing about this is you also get to decide who you offer that to.
Yes.
If you have a client that you're like, I don't think I want to keep going.
I think I'm going to go ahead and bless and release.
Yes, that's right. So you just don't put the offer in front of them, which that's okay. Right.
Yeah.
But the people that you're like, oh, I feel like there's still more that we can do together. And I have some additional ways that I can serve you. Those are the people that you put that offer in front of.
Okay. Thank you. I like that.
Yeah. All right. As we bring it to a close, I always have 2 questions. So the first question is, you and I have worked together in many different ways. So I normally ask, what's one benefit you've received from being in the Sales Maven Society? But I would open that up to you and say, what's one benefit that you've received from us working together in any capacity?
Well, can I do both for the Sales Maven Society too? Like give one benefit? Because I started thinking about hearing everyone kind of says the same thing, which I love as well. You working and kind of helping tweak a lot of the emails. But the other thing I see about the Sales Maven Society is you have such a great group of people in there that it's interesting even to see the types of questions that they ask you. So I learn a lot from observing. Even though I'm not always as active, I'm paying attention to what people are asking you because there's so many great ideas and you're seeing how other people's businesses are evolving as they're progressing and working within the society and working with you.
I love that. Thank you.
And then with you, it's the benefit I really have enjoyed is just the broad range of being able to work one-on-one with you, from mindset to strategy. There's so many angles that where I am in evolving in my business at that time that I can kind of come to you. And it's like I feel like we're old friends. We just go through and we, wherever I am at that moment, you come up with a clear path and action for me to be able to take to be successful.
Thank you. It's such an honor to work with you. All right, last question here is, how can people get a hold of you? Because I suspect that there's some listeners right now that are like, I need to re-engage my email list. What's the best way?
Okay, so you can get a hold of me through LinkedIn as far as through social media, and then my website, which is kathyfarah.com. And I have my lead magnet and everything there.
And remind everybody what that lead magnet is, because they probably want to go grab that.
Yeah, so it's the 4 email strategies to re-engage your list, even if it's been a while since they've heard from you.
I love that. Go grab that. If you need to re-engage your list and you're not quite ready to hire Kathy, at least go grab that. Like, get that resource for you because it's so important. Your email list is an asset in your business. All right, absolutely. Kathy, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Nikki. This was a great pleasure. I appreciate it.
I just adore you. All right. And for you, the listener, thanks for being here with us and going along with our conversation. I hope you found some really good nuggets in there. Please reach out. I'd love to hear from you. What was your takeaway from today's episode? Are you thinking about upsells? Are you thinking about order bumps and add-ons to your business? And and if I can serve you any further, if you need some help figuring out what those should be, that is definitely something that we can work on together. And you're welcome to connect with me, and all the contact information is in the show notes. Thank you for listening. Have a great rest of your day.
Thanks for listening to Sales Maven. Visit us online at yoursalesmaven.com/maven for more resources to boost your confidence and skills.
Are you you ready to increase your confidence in your sales conversations? I have a gift for you that is going to show you exactly how to do that. It is my Closing the Sale ebook. It's all about leveling up your confidence, giving you language to use, how to seamlessly move somebody through the sales process. And you can get it right now by going to yoursalesmaven.com/maven. Go grab it.